So, Ramesh, I know how to write an assignment statement. That is, I say variable equals some expression with a semicolon. But are there any rules about how I write expressions?
So we write, you saying we have a count or some variable, we write an expression, and this expression can be a mathematical expression, a Boolean expression, anything, right?
What are the rules?
So are there rules for this? There are rules, and the rules are broadly defined as what we call as precedence rules.
Ooh, that's a big word.
What does precedence tell us? Well, because there's so many operators, an expression has basically, you can have variables and operators. So it's really about operator precedence. What operator has priority over others when we write them in an expression, right? So it's operator precedence is what we think of. So here's a table that will help us remember this. The table is telling us what the operations are, and it's telling us the precedence from the highest precedence to the lowest precedence. So let's take a simple example. This is a very common thing we do in GPIO, right? We say, for example, I have a switch connect. I have a LED. Let's say, or maybe no switch. Let's say I have a switch connected to pin. Let's go PB3, and I want to take the state of the switch, and I want to return either the state of the switch, and I want to return either a 0 or a 1, depending upon whether the switch is open or the switch is closed. And so I know how to do this, and I know that there is a register where I can get this information, and I know that there's a bit 3 here, and I want to take this, isolate this bit and put it out. The good thing is writing this in C is pretty straightforward. So we say, where is our register? So we're going to say state equals, because I want to know what the status of the switch is. I know which register I'm going with, which is GPIOB, and the attribute I'm looking for is the DIN 31_0, right?
That's
now,
the whole thing, though.
That's the whole thing. So now I want to isolate a bit. So what do? I say, oh, I want to isolate bit. This is the AND operation. So we're just going to isolate the bit, so which is our AND operation here. And we take that and we isolate that bit by masking it. So we mask it with, let's say I'm writing in hex so that we're very clear. So I'm masking it with 0x08, let's say. And then once I mask it, I just isolated it. So whatever this bit is, let's call this X, is now isolated. The rest of them are zeros. The next thing I want to do is I want to bring it down to the just being a 0 or 1. So I'm going to shift write this bit by 3 places. So the X is going to be here, right? So then I say, okay, I know how to do that because the shift operation is right here. I do a shift of that by 3 places.
Ah, sweet.
It looks like it should work, right?
Looks perfect.
Looks perfect, right? But there's a important thing to understand, that this has a higher precedence. This one is of a higher precedence than this, which has a low precedence. This is the lower.
So what does
one.
that mean?
So which means that when the compiler generates code for this, it generates the code in such a way that this higher precedence is run before. So this is run before this.
So precedence means before.
Exactly. So when it generates the code, this is run before.
So it doesn't matter which side they are.
Which side they are.
It's not left and right. What it is higher and lower.
Higher and lower. And you know this even from simple math. We know, for example, if I ask if x equals 3 times 4 plus 2, here we know the precedence, like multiplication has a higher precedence than addition, so we'll do this first and then do that. We know this.
Then it would be the same as 2 plus 3 times 4,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Got it.
So we know this, but we need to remember these because these are new operators we're learning, so somebody has to tell us what the precedence is. And so if we did this would be the wrong result. This is wrong now because our intent was to shift, so to isolate. So the isolate was the first, isolate, and then shift.
And what you did is shifted and then isolate.
Exactly.
Oh, boy,
So-
broken.
It's broken because we did that. Now, the proper way to deal with this is to make sure that you parenthesize it. So we put parenthesis so that we can express our intent without any ambiguity, and we do that by putting proper parenthesis. We do this operation first, and then we can say the other operation.
Yeah, so rather than looking up what the precedent is, what I like to do is just add the parentheses in there so it always does what I want.
Exactly. That's a safe way of doing it. And if you don't want to be safe and you want to be lazy, then you better memorize what the precedence is.